Thank you so much, Beth. That was amazing. We are so honored to have you here and to award you with that great honor. Thank you so much, and congratulations. I forgot to note that we are actually changing the order of the program to accommodate a few people's schedules. So I'm going to welcome up our next speaker, who will introduce our keynote speaker for the evening. We're thrilled who has joined us from Boston, Massachusetts to speak to us tonight. But before that, I'm going to introduce Senate Majority Leader Becca Balint.
Good evening. It is such a pleasure to be here with all of you. I wish you could see the view, because there are so many incredible women here tonight, so many inspiring women. So I have the best job right now, because I get to look at all of you. We're here tonight to celebrate so many women, and it is a tremendous honor to come after Governor Kunin and Treasurer Pierce. When I was first elected to the Senate, Madam Kunin took time from her very busy schedule to call me to congratulate me, and it was on my cell phone for many, many years. It was so touching to me that she took that time, and most recently, I was on the cover of 7 Days, and Beth Pierce took time to write me a very lovely note, and something that I will treasure for a very long time. What these two women know is that part of being a leader is bringing up women behind you, is always looking to model the way for those coming behind you. And I have learned so much from both of them, so thank you very much. I would love for just a few minutes for the women of the Emerge class for this year, for 2018, to stand up and face the room. Please stand up. And you see all the people who are here to lift you up and to hold you through your political journey. It is not easy to enter the realm of politics. And it's not easy to make yourself vulnerable. And it's not easy to take such a big risk. But I know that sitting on the sidelines is much more difficult. I am so grateful for you for stepping up. You won't be alone on this journey. We're all here behind you. Before I introduce our remarkable keynote speaker, I wanted to tell you about something that happened this week at the State House. On Wednesday, many students from all over Vermont came to talk about our terrible epidemic of gun violence. And they came before a joint hearing of the education committees. The young people who came to testify were articulate, they were passionate, and as someone mentioned earlier, I think it was Governor Kunin, they are the truth tellers. And I would estimate that about 95% of the activists in the room were female. And many of them were confident and poised and fairly comfortable wielding their newfound power, and it was beautiful to watch. But there was one young man who came to the podium to testify. And as he sat at the microphone and he started his testimony, you could tell that his nerves were getting to him, which is not surprising because the room was packed and there were lots of TV cameras, and VPR, Peter Hirschfeld was crawling around on the floor. And so there are reasons why he was nervous. And at one point he just froze. And you could sort of see the red creeping up his neck as he tried to find his place, and he kept stumbling over his words. And I looked at the chair of the committee to see if he was going to say something, but he didn't. So I leaned into the microphone and I said to this young man, "You're doing fine. It's okay. You can do this. You can really do this." He found his courage and he continued his testimony. I tell you this for a couple reasons. First of all, we need to help each other find our voices, and not just when we're in politics. We need to do that always. Secondly, we need to bring compassion into our work all the time. I also tell you this because afterwards, several legislators came to me and said, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I didn't know what to do. Thank you for taking the time to let him know it was okay. We have to, when we have power, model compassion, model listening, model bringing people into the light so they can find their voice. From what I've read, the woman I'm about to introduce has done all these things in her work as a member of the Boston City Council. Ayanna Pressley made history in 2009 when she was the first woman of color elected to the Boston City Council. I want you to know, in that first election, she was the only woman in a field of 13 candidates. She won re-election 4 more times as an at-large member. In her work, she has fought for many issues that so many of us in this room care about. Women's health, the needs of families, strengthening communities, reducing and preventing violence and trauma, and fighting against poverty. Councilwoman Pressley has also earned local and national attention for her efforts to provide pathways to graduation for pregnant and parenting teens, and for improving economic and wealth-building opportunities for women and people of color. Thank you. Now, I came across something that she said to Essence magazine recently that moved me so deeply. It resonated with me, and I will tell you why afterwards. But she said, there were a lot of reasons we could have felt invisible and marginalized. But on election day, my mother made sure we felt powerful. I was there under that curtain with her. We could have felt disillusioned, but she reminded me that this was a partnership. We had to hold government accountable, but also engage. She made sure I knew my rights and that I had a responsibility to manifest the change that I wanted to see. As the child of an immigrant who fled Nazi Germany, this quote resonates with me deeply. I had similar moments behind the curtain with my own father about the importance of not losing faith in democracy. Now, Councilwoman Pressley is taking her deep commitment to democracy and government accountability to the next level. She's running for Congress in the 7th Congressional. She faces a longtime incumbent in the Democratic primary, but she's made history before, and she just might do it again. Will you please join me in welcoming the very accomplished, the very inspiring Ayanna Pressley.